I'd like to welcome everyone to the Village of Northfield Council meeting of April 10th, 2019. So I'll rise for pledge, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Mayor Diaz.
Here.
Mr. Magistrelli.
Here.
Mr. Scher.
Here.
Ms. Domzalski. Here. Mr. Hips is absent. Ms. Nowak.
Here.
Mr. Wojtusz.
Here.
Mr. Bryan.
Here.
Mr. Wasowski.
Here.
Chief Solgus is absent, but Sergeant Olasinski is present for him.
Here.
Chief Buss is absent, but Captain Zemek is present.
Here.
Harold.
Here.
And I'm present.
Okay, we have 3 sets of minutes today. We're going to do our 227 first.
I'd like to suspend the 3 reading
I said
rule.
227, yeah.
Okay.
227.
Okay, thanks.
Oh, no.
Motion to approve
Motion
the
to approve.
February 27, 2019 minutes made by Ms. Domzalski. Is there
Second.
Wait a minute. Before we approve the minutes, there was a statement. This is January's?
February 27.
Okay, all right, well,
Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Ms. Nowak. Any questions, comments, amendments, discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of approval?
yes.
All opposed? Okay, February 27th minutes are approved.
Next is 313.
I wanted to not add something to the minute, but correct something to that minute.
Okay, well, let's get a motion in a second, then we can discuss your
Motion.
amendment. Motion by Ms. Nowak. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Ms. Domzalski. Any amendments or discussion on the minutes, Mr.
Uh,
Chair?
Mr. Magistrelli stated last month the reason why Glenwillow was such a fine town is because they had a $18.5 million budget, and they spent quite a bit of money on flowers. And I went down to Glenwillow myself, and their budget is $3.6 million. Each and every one of you have a copy of that.
Mr. Scheer, I talked to the mayor after I spoke, and I was going to correct that today.
Well, I'm correcting it, and
But
I appreciate
talked to the mayor.
that.
The mayor and I are pretty good friends, so after I wanted to make sure
Well-
I did my fact checking. So I apologize for that.
I appreciate that. Thank you. So if
Well,
that's,
you could have called me, and we could have talked about that. You could have called me, picked up the phone. I've been trying to get a hold of you since Wednesday.
I believe you
I
were.
have never dealt with anybody in a professional work anywhere where I didn't get a return phone call.
Hold on a second.
For a week.
I didn't even mention the money at all.
I'm just telling
When
you,
the
we could
meeting-
have talked on the phone.
When we talked, I didn't even mention the meeting.
Mr. Scheer, you could have talked on the phone. I've been trying to call you for a week.
No, you talk. I called you
Mr.
back,
Scheer,
and we've been playing phone tag. I called you back each and
I've got
every
it all on
time.
record. I left you a message this
And-
morning, probably 15 minutes.
This morning, no, you never called me.
I
This
texted you
morning.
this morning
Anyway,
because I couldn't get the phone call. I talked to
I
the
called
mayor.
you
I talked
back,
to the mayor,
and you never
so I
answered.
did my fact check. And I was going to correct that this evening.
I did the fact check right after the meeting.
Okay. You could have called, we could have
Can
talked
we get a
about it.
point of order, please?
Yes. Anyway,
I don't know where
hold on.
you're going
I
with all
wanted.
this.
This is what I wanted to say. I wanted to say I didn't even mention the money that they spent on flowers.
I don't care what the money they spent on
You
the
do
phone.
because you mentioned
Hey,
$18.5 million.
because
Point
you're
of order,
causing
please.
Point of order.
chaotic situations.
Point of order. I wanted to let you know that they
Okay.
spent $11,000 total in flowers, and I think that
Well, let's just one person talk at a time. So, Mr.
I'm
Scheer, you're
speaking.
talking. So go ahead.
I'm saying that all I was getting at, and that we.
Does this have anything to do with the minutes right now, or are we
I just wanted to make that point clear.
Okay, you made it clear. Could we work on 313, please, the minutes?
Okay, anyone else have anything regarding the March 13th minutes? Okay, all in favor of approval?
Yes.
Yes.
All opposed? Okay, the March 13th minutes are approved. We have one more set.
319, please.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Ms. Domzowski, seconded by Ms. Noack to approve the minutes of March 19th. Any questions, comments, or amendments? Okay, hearing none. All in favor of approval?
Yes.
All opposed? Okay, minutes are approved.
At this time, is there anyone in the audience that would like to address us at this time? Mr. Sullivan?
Yes.
Welcome.
Good evening, Mayor,
Good evening.
councilors, law director,
Great.
and
If you can hit the button on your,
service department personnel.
There you go.
okay, you're ready to go.
I've gone sophisticated since I was on council many moons ago. Recognize a couple of faces, but not the rest. I came up tonight because great to see us in the plus with our revenue. I've been around long enough to remember when we were known as a speed trap. We're known for bad cops, and that's all behind us, and I'm grateful for that, being a resident. Also, I want to talk about curbing behind the plaza. I was told several years ago that the plan was to do one street and then move forward the next year, the next year, the next year, and I've seen no movement on that, and I'm wondering what the plan is, if any.
Jason, Rich, would you like to answer that?
I can answer some, but we did have a plan for total reconstruction of all the streets behind the plaza, plus all the presidential streets. And we were working from east to west, so Cranbrook, then Coventry, then Cambridge, then Milford, and the North Plaza, and Huntington, and Windsor Plaza would be in there in the group. Of course, we did Cranbrook. Then it was determined that the presidential subdivision was in such bad shape that we had to do something. They couldn't last, wait till these 7 or 8 streets got finished back here. We had to do something with the presidentials really last a year and a half ago or so. So we recycled all the presidential streets a year and a half ago. That was the year we were tentatively had planned to do Coventry. And then we got grant money for the traffic signal down at Ledge Road and State Route 8. We got a 50% grant. Plus we got our permissible license tax from the county, so it's paying about 90% of that signal is going to be paid by outside parties. And we got a 50% grant for the Houghton Road project down here, which is a fairly large project. It's going to be a concrete street too, Mr. Sullivan. So we delayed the projects behind the plaza. And oh yeah, we did Ledge Road. We got Ledge Road. We got a loan for $1.7 million. So that got pushed up. If somebody gives us money, your project goes ahead. It's that simple. If we can get money, we're spending that money, we're using that money. These projects back here will be 100% village funds. And I'm assuming that Coventry will be the next street that's completely rebuilt, but that's...
What year do you anticipate that being?
That's, Mr. Sullivan, that's up to the mayor and the council to decide, and the finance director, since she has the money, decide when we can expend that those funds
Well,
for
why
that
don't you
street.
bite off and have a few more smaller projects and get things done that you began. It's great to hear about the Ledge Road project, about the grants that you're getting, but you got a couple million that you haven't spent, and I'd like to see a little bit of that done back here. And I'm not surprised to hear what you say about the presidential streets getting the one up on us, because when I was on council, I did a study on the playground and where the monies were being spent on playgrounds, and guess what? Everything was across the street from us.
Well,
So we've been the orphans for a while, and I'm just in here to go on record that I'd like to see some movement. Do one street at a time, will you?
as far as spending money, actually what you said is completely opposite. More money has been spent behind the plaza than on any place else in this village. Because I'm not sure if you're aware, Mr. Sullivan, that almost all the sewers back of the plaza have been replaced. They have new sewers in Cranbrook,
With all
Coventry,
due respect,
Cambridge,
I was
Stratford.
discussing when I was on council and all the monies that had been spent on the playgrounds and our playground back there, we did get a grant, partial grant to help that. And I think that came because my daughter was a state representative at the time and helped to push that through. But that's what I was relating to,
Well, both,
Mr. Wiskowski.
yeah.
Yeah, money-wise, Rich, right, Cranbrook was nearly $1 million, right?
Cranbrook is
So-
almost $1 million.
And the presidential
Yes.
project was much less than, all the streets were much less than the
How
cost of
much
Cranbrook.
is the surplus we're sitting on again?
The village
Anybody can
current,
tell me?
the village's current account balance is around $5.5 million. But the size of the projects that have been neglected for I don't know how many years, and the cost of those projects is pretty much what dictates what gets done and in what order.
Yes, and they get done across Route 8.
And
So
so,
they get done.
I mean, to call it a surplus is, I mean, we're where we should be actually, you know, in comparison.
I would like to have had that surplus when I was on council. We never had that luxury. Second issue I wanted to address, and then I'll shut off. Is
Could you press your button,
village
please?
resident?
So you can be on record. There you go.
Was I turned off?
Yeah, it did.
Okay, I don't know who did that, but I didn't. You're all village residents, and you all should receive the newsletter in your box. If you don't, it's available at the store. And I'm looking at a March 27th issue. Nordonia Hills layoffs approved, staff take pay freeze. Now, I also see that Nordonia is looking for a levy to help with the school situation. And I saw Mayor's picture in the paper in support of that. Gary, I think your picture was there, okay? And I don't know how you can think about giving the mayor a $5,000 a year raise and give yourselves a raise at this point in time. It's ludicrous. It's great that we have the money there, and it'd be nice to give everybody a raise, but I think you shouldn't be talking about that. You're all part-time. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Okay, and just for
Thank
the
you.
record, the point I would, just so everyone understands, the mayor and council have not gotten raises in 12 years, so.
It's fine. These are part-time jobs.
Where does it say that?
Where does it say what?
Where does it say that we're part-time jobs?
Where does it say it's a full-time job?
It doesn't. It doesn't say it's
Okay.
part-time either.
Okay. Both our points, I think, were well made.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Thank you for the opportunity.
You're welcome. Thank you. Anyone else have anything tonight? Okay, moving on. Reports of municipal officers. The mayor just like to report that the opening of MGM went very smoothly the other day. It was nice to have council up there. For those council people that couldn't make it, wish you were there. It was a really great time and a nice experience. So that went very well. Moving on to Ms. Ingrassia, Finance Director.
Everybody had at their seats January, February, and March, end of month cash reconciliations and month-end closing reports. Can I have one motion for all 3 months
So moved.
for acknowledgement of receipt?
Second.
Motion by Ms. Domzalski, seconded by Mr. Vojtish. Any questions? All in favor of the acknowledgement of receipt motion?
Yes.
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 All opposed? Okay, motion's adopted.
And then the one piece of legislation that I have is to increase the super blanket purchase orders from the first quarter only total to the full year amount. And that's all I have. And I believe I said something about this coming with the last meeting. So, does anybody have any questions?
Do we have a list of amounts for those, or?
Was it not with the
It should be
legislation?
attached to the
Oh,
legislation.
I'm sorry.
Yep, I think it's with the legislation. Yeah. Okay.
And there is an appropriation amendment ordinance too.
Oh, yes, and that's just a transfer. More funding for the month-end close for March. So we don't have anything in the red. That's all.
Thank you. Does anyone have anything for the finance director? Hearing none, moving on to the engineer, Mr. Wasowski.
The catch basin at Victory Drive and Houghton Road, it went out for the bid yesterday. It's just a letter solicitation to 3 companies, and the bid opening is Tuesday, April 23rd at 10 a.m. Last year we bid this, and the 3 companies we sent it out to, they were overwhelmed with work, and they weren't interested. They couldn't fit it in the schedule, none of them. This year, the one company we hoped would also bid said he couldn't do it because he didn't have the equipment to move this. It's a really big box, very heavy. He doesn't have equipment big enough to move it, so he declined. But hopefully we'll get at least one bid from one of these other 3 companies. I do know Katz is pretty busy. This year he got the big Solon contract, State Route 43 and 91. But we'll see what happens there. State Route 8 and Ledge Road traffic signal. The signal's all up. The signs now on the signal. The ground mounted signs, there's a couple of them we have to put in. We deleted the striping from the contract. I talked to the state about the State Highway Department is going to be striping State Route 8 center line and lane lines this summer. They don't know when yet, but they will not be striping the crosswalks or stop bars. We have to do that if we want to do it. So when we do the other 3 signals later on this year with the Houghton Road project, we'll just go and stripe all that stuff at one time. It's a lot cheaper than having a company come out and put one little intersection in for us. They still have to do the seating and the sidewalks down at the Ledge Road area. It's a minor cleanup, and that's it. It's all the signal's all functioning fine, and yeah, they did a nice job. The Houghton Road reconstruction. We had the contracts were signed. We had the pre-construction meeting. We issued a notice to proceed on April 1st. Contractor has 270 days to finish the project. He's indicated to me he would like to start around May 1st with the actual construction on Houghton. Houghton Road will be closed to all traffic except the local people live on that little section between Vorderman and Route 8. So we'll have barricades across the road, right at Northfield Road and down at Electric. We'll detour them down Electric Boulevard through Beach up to Route 8. This should make construction go a lot easier than with leaving Ledge, where we're supposedly closed except local traffic only. It was, I thought, a hazardous situation up there in Ledge with the. Jason, of course, knows. You wouldn't believe the way people absolutely speed through that construction, and they just don't care about those workers. And fortunately, no one was hurt. So this would be a lot safer for everybody. So that's where we stand on that. That's my report.
Thank you, Rich. Anyone have anything for Mr. Wasowski?
Yes. Rich, for the ones that live in Houghton, are the residents gonna get the stickers like they did on
Yes, they are.
Okay, so will they be dropped off at the residence like they were the last time?
Yes, they will. They're going, we have a notification letter we're going to pass out next week, and are the stickers coming in next week? Yeah?
They're in.
They're in. So we'll pass out the stickers with the notification letter.
Thank you.
Rich, could you explain the bypass again, please? On how the traffic will be
Oh.
rerouted?
The main detour is Beach Avenue. So you're going to go, if you're coming on State Route 8 and you want to get westbound on Houghton, you just turn on the beach, go down to Electric, and make the left turn onto Houghton and go west. If you're coming from Sagamore Hills and you're coming eastbound, when you hit Electric, you're going to have to turn. You have no choice. Turn right on the beach. We're detouring you right on Electric. And when you hit Beach, there's signs detouring down Beach. I think realistically most people are just going to travel down the Maple since there's a light there. But the official detour is Beach Avenue. Now, the people who live on Houghton, we're telling them they have two ways they can come in. They can go Beach and go through the parking lot of the service garage. We're going to have the gate open. So they can go through there because they can park there in the garage area. Or they can go down Fell and go down Vorderman. There will be a road closed sign on Vorderman at Fell, but the local residents can come through that sign and get to their property. So,
Thank you.
Okay. Moving on to Law Director, Mr. Bryan.
Thank you, Mayor. We have the February 2019 Mayor's Court Monthly Dispersal Report for acceptance. Total, we dispersed $17,945.18. Total due to the state, $1,543. Total due to Stowe Municipal Court, $50. Total due City of Stowe, $42. Total dispersed for restitution, $31. Total due to the village, $16,279.18. Is there a motion for acceptance?
So moved?
Motion by Ms. Noack, seconded by Mr. Magistrelli. All in favor of the motion?
Yes.
All opposed? Okay, motion passes. And the other issue is with Chief Bus's assistance. I prepared a request for statements of qualification for architectural design and project consulting administration services for the fire station expansion project, and this would be sent out to any interested candidates. They would respond by May 16th that they're interested in being considered for the project. At that point, we would narrow down the field if necessary and interview people, and at that point, whoever is selected, we'd attempt to enter into a scope of work agreement and move forward. So this does not obligate the village to go forward with the project or hire anyone or incur any costs at this point. So we're just asking for permission to send this out on April 15th and get the responses and see what kind of candidates we get.
I'd like to make that motion.
Motion made by Mr. Voitish to authorize sending out the request for statements of qualification. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Ms. Noack. Any questions or comments on the motion? All in favor of the motion?
Yes.
All opposed? Okay, we'll take care of that, and that is it for my report, Mayor.
Does anyone have anything for the Law Director? Hearing none, moving on to department heads. Police Chief John Zlokas is not here, but in his place is Sergeant Olasinski.
The police department has nothing to report.
Okay, thank you. Fire Chief Jason Buss is not present, and in his place Lieutenant, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to call you Lieutenant. Sorry, Joe Zemek. Captain Joe Zemek, I'm sorry.
No report at this time, Mayor.
Thank you. Moving on to Mr. Walters, the Service and Building Superintendent.
Thank you, Mayor, Council. Got a few things. We have,
Sorry, Joe.
we've discussed the ball diamonds and trying to get the dirt for the ball diamonds. The baseball association is going to work on that. They have a company that's working on it. I'm just letting everybody know I did get the price. The delivered price for the dirt is $29 per ton. We're having it delivered to Houghton. We've put a bin together, having it ready for that. They'll deliver it in there. Their trucks are too big to get up in those parts. And then we'll take the smaller trucks and take the dirt as needed. So I put in, I have a PO that I'm going to request the funds for it, but I wanted everybody to understand and make sure that, you know, everybody's on board with it. For 100 ton, which is $2,900. So I'm hoping we don't need 100 ton, but I'd rather have the PO ready for more. But I do feel that each field could take, you know, anywhere from 30 to 40 ton at minimum. Magnolia maybe a little more. So I have that. I'll be turning into our finance director. Then I do have the salt shed. The reason I'm doing this is because in order for us to get it approved, really the council's going to have to approve funds for our finance department to go ahead and issue the PO, being that the funds are over the mayor's allowable spending limit. So the salt shed replacement, there is a potential of bad wood up there. We won't know until we strip it, but most contractors, they give you a set cost for the wood, and I can get the wood cheaper, so I just asked them if we can go get the wood. They agreed. So the price for we'll get what pieces we need. We're not going to replace all, only what we need, if we need it. The salt shed is $9,850 and it's a lifetime shingle for that roof. So that PO request will be going in. I do have.
We need a motion to approve it.
You want to do it per each? Okay. Good.
Do you want to go back to the dirt then?
We don't need.
Oh, the dirt's fine.
I just wanted
That's
to
right.
make sure everybody knew that we were working on it.
I'd like to make that motion for the salt shed roof replacement.
Second.
Amount not to exceed, what is
Not
it?
to exceed
8,900 or 9,000?
$9,950.
$9,850. Okay. Motion made by Ms. Domzowski, seconded by Mr. Magistrelli. Any questions?
I do have a question. We're just replacing the roof on the unit because I'm worried if we're gonna replace the whole unit, that doesn't the drains and all that go across the driveway right in front of that? Do we need to do anything more to that?
For the salt shed,
Yeah.
there's no drains in front of that.
The ones that come across the driveway, or are they way up further?
I'm not sure what you're talking about. The salt shed's in the back corner.
Yeah, all the way in the back.
There's no drains like that we have to worry about.
Okay,
That,
thank you.
yeah, we're all good there, Gary. Are you thinking of something else, or?
I might be,
Okay.
I think it's closer to the dumpster.
it might be up further,
I
yeah.
never thought about that.
The catch basin?
No, there should be drains across that driveway underneath somewhere. I don't know. We'll
Which
talk-
driveway? I mean, the salt shed's in the parking
Yeah,
lot.
It's back in the parking lot.
Yeah. It wouldn't have nothing to do with, okay,
Yeah, you're okay.
all right.
Okay. All in favor of the motion?
Yes.
All opposed? Okay. Motion's adopted.
Okay, next, in order to get this truck ordered. We budgeted for this as well, but the 2019 F-350, it's 41,000. We budgeted 65 for this, put this whole thing together. The truck itself is 41,000. And it's coming from, it's the same, we deal with the same company that gets our police cruisers. So it's Park Ford. Yes,
Did you say 250 or 350?
3,
Thank you.
F-350, yes.
All right, is there,
I'd like
what's
to-
the urgency as far as ordering it? Do we have a deadline or?
Urgency.
We should have legislation. We can do that at the next meeting. If there's a question of maybe you need to order it before then, we can
Well,
maybe
that's
do a
all I
motion
want
to
to do.
approve
We're
it,
not,
right?
it's obviously not going to be in before legislation. So I just want to get the truck ordered. So I'm going to submit the PO to finance and then,
Okay. Well, if someone wants to do a motion
I'd like to make a
authorizing,
motion to allow that to happen.
A second.
made by Mr. Wojcik, seconded by Ms. Domsowski. Any questions? All in favor of the motion?
Yes.
All opposed? Okay, and we will have legislation next meeting, just so we're adopting it by legislation. So once you have the final quote, if you can just send that to me, Jason, out. Okay. So I'll take care of
give
it.
you this.
Okay.
I can just give you this. And then once you're done, we give it to Tricia to get me the PO number.
And then there's gonna be money to equip it, or we don't know what that's
I
gonna
have, I have the next piece for that.
be? Okay, all right, sorry.
Okay. So,
It's your show, go ahead.
the new plow system for it, and this is where I stop. We're gonna end up probably having to put a radio and stuff in, but I think the rest of the stuff will be under the spending limit. The new plow system, $7,489.
Pardon me. Can we do the same as we do with the police cruisers and lump it all in together?
Yes,
And then just
yes.
say other various?
Yes.
Okay.
Vendors.
So, yeah, do you need to order the plow now, or
No.
after? Okay, so yeah, we'll do it in legislation. Would I just, figure out the amount above the purchase price of the truck, we'll need to equip it, stripe it, put a radio in, and we'll put that amount in the legislation and authorize that. So.
Okay. Next, we put in for the standard mower and then the new rider that's replacing that chopper, and it's all from the same entity, which ended up being Northfield Power Equipment right here in the village on Meadow Lane, and the cost of the two is $22,250. Same deal. Gotta have legislation. I want to get them. Well, actually, the one machine.
2,250? Oh, 22,000, I was gonna say. Okay.
I would issue 2,000.
Yep, I know.
Can we make a motion to go ahead and allow him to get
Yes.
those ordered?
Yes.
I'd like to make that motion.
Second.
Northfield Power Equipment.
Motion made by Ms. Domzowski, seconded by Mr. Wojcik, was it? Okay. All right, any other questions on this? All in favor of the motion?
Yes.
Yes.
All opposed? Okay.
Okay, another one. So we'll have to have legislation. I know for sure on this one. It's the new leaf collector. The final cost on that is $52,422.80. That's under two, luckily. Brand new. And it's slightly bigger than the one we have.
And that unit goes right on top of the chassis, the old chassis, correct?
No.
Or on the trailer?
It's a trailer, so it's an all-new unit.
Okay.
It trailer, everything. We're gonna put the other one on Gov Deals. It's not gonna get anything. They didn't even wanna offer to take it from us, so, the old one, so.
Where are you gonna put it, Jason? On a Dove deal? Is that what you said?
Gov Deals, Gov,
Gov.
G-O-V, yep,
Oh.
Gov Deals. Where are we at with that? That's, I think about, a minimum 9 weeks, they're telling us, to get that one.
You want a motion?
So, order.
Oh, we, okay, okay. Well, you're saying 9
I
weeks
just
from when
wanna
you
get-
order
I
it,
wanna- I
right?
got a lot of things going on, I wanna get,
Your
to where I can
shopping,
get POs.
your
and-
shopping cart's almost full.
Yeah,
It's
well, I got it all budgeted, so I just, in order to turn these POs in, I was told I gotta get you
Okay.
guys to approve, so I don't wanna deal with it all somehow.
Okay,
Alright. Yeah.
go ahead.
I'd like to make a motion to allow him to get that ordered.
Second.
Motion by Ms. Domzowski, seconded by Mr. Magistrelli. Any questions on this item? Okay. All in favor of the motion?
Yes.
Yes.
All opposed? Okay.
Next, I'm not done. I'm not done. I got a ways to go. Here we go. So the entrance of the police department garage, that is $9,370. These following ones I want to get approved. So the plan is to have all this done by the first week of May. So I can concentrate on Houghton at that point and some of the other little things. But so that's that one.
How much was that one?
9,370.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Motion by Ms. Domzowski, seconded by Ms. Nowak. Any comments, questions? All in favor of the motion?
Yes.
Yes.
All opposed?
So the parking lot at Elm and Heights, a lot of work to be done there. And the final is $45,900. It's under what we had appropriated. But again, that would need, and I would have to, am I assuming this needs legislation?
Who's the contractor?
Mid-Ohio Asphalt.
I'll defer to the, probably we should.
So the first
When,
thing,
when are they supposed to start?
they have to, the tree work has to, which is, I also have here, the tree work, will be done, get that out of the way. We have some work, we're gonna get, there's some stumps and like,
Are they doing the tree work or somebody else?
Nick's Tree Service is doing the tree work.
Okay. So when are they gonna start be on the job?
Nick's,
No, the Mid-Ohio.
as soon as the work ahead of it's done. I don't want anything heavy on that parking lot.
So in the next 2 weeks or after?
Yeah, they hope to, have everything done by the first week of May. So, and that would help us as far as the parking for Magnolia, obviously, as the ball games start.
All right, we need a motion and then we'll follow up with legislation.
I'll make that motion.
Second?
Motion by Ms. Domzowski, seconded by Mr. Magistrelli. Any questions?
I do have one.
Yes, sir.
Is the tree service included in that 40?
No, it's not. I have that too, Gary.
Okay. How much was that,
Which one?
the tree service?
But to clear that lot is $9,000.
Thank you.
That's next.
Okay, go ahead.
Oh, sorry.
All in favor of the motion?
Yes.
All opposed? Okay. All right, trees we can just do by a motion. We don't need legislation.
That's
Like to make
ready
that
to go.
motion?
So I can,
Yep.
I'll make the motion for the tree work.
Second.
What was the amount again?
9,000 even.
And who's the contractor?
Nick's Tree Service.
Okay. Who made motion by Ms. Domzowski, seconded by Mr. Voitish? Any questions? All in favor of the motion?
Yes.
Yes.
All opposed? Okay, motion's adopted.
Okay, if I can explain this a little bit, we had talked about maybe trying to put a sidewalk in. Okay, there's a lot to do to get that to happen, and I talked to that homeowner on that corner, and then we looked at it, the grade, we have a drain right in that middle, kinda. So, here's what we decided, in that parking lot cost, they're gonna stripe a crosswalk from the parking lot alongside the Elm to cross over into Magnolia. And I think it'll stop other issues that could if we ended up putting the sidewalk. So we won't need to use that portion of what we budgeted. So I think that's the best and easiest thing. Plus you're talking, the traffic's now horrible there on Elm, and then you have the fact that it's really, the biggest use is gonna come for, the first, part of summer, maybe 9-12 weeks. I'm not sure how long the baseball season is. So I think that's what if we see that that's a problem, then we can discuss going further with maybe a sidewalk. I know, Tricia, I'm hurrying. next would be the Smith Park driveway all the way up to the parking lot, Magnolia Park, the parking area and the ball or the basketball court, fire department, rear asphalt seal, and then the front is concrete, which would be restriped. Town hall, which would be everything sealed and restriped, and then Ledge Road seal, or we're sealing it, and then they'll stripe it. It's now concrete, obviously. We did that. So the total for all to crack fill, seal, stripe is $7,500.
And that's Mid-Ohio?
Yes. That price is unreal.
Someone will make the
I'd like
motion.
to make a motion for that.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Voicher, seconded by Mr. Magistrelli. Any questions or comments? All in favor of the motion?
Yes.
All opposed?
$200 in 10 minutes.
I'm not done with my report.
There better not be any more.
Okay, I'm not gonna spend any more this second. But we are gonna get busy here quick.
Yep.
And if we can get that, I know everybody's been wanting that. I know Gary, you wanted it. I mean, everybody's been wanting that parking lot done, and the sooner we can get that done, the better. And then, like I said, we'll have to focus on, we have the Houghton project coming and many other things that we gotta get done. So, the other, my train of thought. I'm sorry. I lost my train of thought. I apologize, but I know I'm trying to hurry so I don't get too much trouble up here. Oh man. I'm done. I must not have been that important.
Well, if you think about it, just let us know.
I will.
Okay, municipal reports, municipal boards and commission. Mr. Hips is not here. Does anyone have anything with planning commission? Jason, you have it now? Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so even with what some of the things that were said tonight, we had a resident come in and talk, and I understand the frustration with it. I mean, I hear these things from our residents all the time. Number one question I'm always asked is, when do we restart the plaza area streets? I will remind that we did skim coat all them trying to buy us time back there too, if you remember right, okay? Residents are really upset at the curbs, and obviously if you drive Cranbrook and then you go to the others, there's a huge difference. So, you know, the other thing that had came up, you know, like last meeting, we talked about the parks and trying to get, you know, equipment and things like this. I really feel like the village, or us as a whole, we kind of try to do everything at the last minute as the budget's ready to be due. I really suggest, and I would like to be part of, we put committees together for these things, and then you plan for the year and to get ready, so we're not just hitting Tricia at the end too, which I know, and I've asked for this before too. So we can't, you know, that's my whole issue with this. Like, being honest, we can triple our budget, spend the money. You know what I mean? You can triple it, and you still wouldn't get all the projects done. So there's got to be a cutoff as to what we think we can get done in a year. You can't get everything done in 1 year, and you can only spend so much of the income that we have.
And I've been talking to a company in North Carolina. We've been communicating through email and other sources of social media that is going to help with a 5-year plan for the parks. So I'm trying to get all that together, you know, being here, you know, 8 hours a day doing that, you know, to try to, you know, put something together for council to actually look at, so we can, gets things going with the parks. You know, I understand that there's people up here that want the parks to be done. I get it. I want them done too. But, you know, I feel like we shouldn't fly by the seat of our pants. I think we really need to sit down and plan everything out and spend money the correct way.
Right, but that's not just inclusive of the parks. That should be for the entire village, and I've been saying this.
I agree. I just had a problem. I just had
sure,
go
my
ahead.
mind again. So, all right, I'm rushed every time I'm up here. I want to just be able to get all this stuff out. All right. Well, I guess we're in agreement that we need to get the committees together. So, I think that if you have committee meetings and work sessions and start, maybe we talk to our people in each ward, see where we got to go. But it's pretty obvious that we have to get back on track on those roads behind the plaza. We've all known that. We got to do it. And they're bad. And they're only getting worse. On top of that, another big issue is everybody's going to realize, with no drainage system on the side of them roads, we have so many people that have to disconnect their old lines and put new lines in, and they're all draining right out on the road. It's a nightmare to try to keep that development ice-free in the wintertime because so many people had to run a pipe right out to the edge of the road and let all the water just spill on the road. And being honest, the road we've paved, that's where your curbs went. We paved, raised it. You know, there's no way for it to flow. I mean, you lose grade getting to the catch basins and things like this. You know, it's bad. So we have to get back on track to that. But, you know, you got an entity that group, you know, that wants lights. You want the Ledge Road was, people complain about Ledge Road so much, it was unreal. But then, you know, as we're going through the project, everybody was unhappy. But in order to fix the roads, we're going to have inconvenience. So I don't know how else to do that. I wish I couldn't imagine how much it would cost to open your eyes and it all be done. But so, and I don't want you to forget that roads like Beach, roads like Vorderman and all that, they're now due to be resurfaced again. So it doesn't go away. I mean, as many years as it takes to try to get everything done, as soon as you're done, we're back to where we started. So some of those roads now are 15 years old, you know, 12 years old, and as soon as they start popping, it's time to refill or resurface them. So I think that we need to get these committees going and get a plan throughout the year instead of trying to, you know, and unfortunately you run into emergencies and things all the time that we get faced with, the things that we can't foresee. So that's all I have to report.
Thank you, Jason. Reports of municipal boards and commissions. We're on planning commission. Does anyone have anything from that committee since Mr. Hibbs is not present? Hearing none, moving on. Recreation board. Saturday, 4/13. The Easter bunny will be going around. The west side from 10 to 12, east side from 1 to 3, and 4 p.m. sharp Easter egg hunt at Smith Park. And if we need another meeting, it would be on 5/1 at 6:30 here at Town Hall. Moving on to reports of the standing committees. Mr. Magistralia, Finance.
No report.
Mrs. Domzalski, Roads and Public Works.
No report, Mayor.
Mr. Sheriff, Health and Welfare.
No report.
Mr. Wojtusha, Wages and Working Conditions.
No report, Mayor.
Mrs. Nowak of Fire and Safety.
No report this evening.
Mr. Hibbs is not present. Does anyone have anything for Buildings and Grounds? Hearing none, moving on. Moving on to legislation. Law Director, Mr. Bryan.
Thank you, Mayor. We have 2019-20, an emergency resolution setting forth the salary of the mayor on second reading this evening. And are we proceeding to a third reading?
Yes, third
meeting?
reading. According to the Council President, yes.
Next, 2019-21, an emergency resolution setting forth the salary of Village Council, again on second reading. Mr. Magistrelli, we want to proceed to put that on third reading next meeting?
Yes, sir, Mr. Bryan.
Okay. 2019-23, an emergency resolution declaring the month of April 2019 Autism Awareness Month in the village of Northfield.
Like the motion.
Skip the 3 reading and go on.
Motion by Mr. Scheer, seconded by Mr. Wojcik to suspend the 3 reading rule. All in favor of the motion?
Yes.
All opposed?
Motion for passage?
Motion to pass by Mr. Wojcik. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Mr. Scheer. Any comments? Questions? All in favor of passage?
Yes.
All opposed?
Thank you all.
The resolution is adopted. Next, we have 2019-24, an emergency resolution authorizing the use of and establishing limits on open blanket purchase orders. On first reading, the Director of Finance explained that this extends the blankets for the full year.
Make a motion to skip to 3 readings.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Wojcik, seconded by Ms. Noack to suspend the 3 reading rule. All in favor of the motion?
Yes.
Yes.
All opposed?
Second.
Motion to pass by Ms. Noack, seconded by Mr. Wojcik. Any questions, comments? All in favor of passage?
Yes.
All opposed? Okay, the resolution's adopted. Next, we have 2019-25, an emergency resolution authorizing certain amendments to the 2019 appropriation resolution and/or transferring items already appropriated in that resolution. Is there a motion to suspend the 3 reading rule?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Ms. Domzalski, seconded by Mr. Magistrelli. All in favor of the motion?
Yes.
Yes.
All opposed? Is there a motion to pass?
Motion to pass?
Second.
Motion to pass by Ms. Noack, seconded by Mr. Scheer. Any questions, comments? All in favor?
Yes.
All opposed? And that resolution passes, and that's it for the legislation, Mayor.
At this time, is there any old business, new business, or announcements? I have some business that I would like to attend to here. I find it puzzling how some council people vote down a budget, but then they approve everything that has to do with money. That makes no sense to me at all. You totally voted down a budget, and now you're passing stuff, reappropriating stuff. It makes no sense to me. That's all I want to say. Anyone else have any old business, new business, or announcements?
I do.
Mr. Scheer.
I would like to get a committee going, and I'd like to have a big part in that committee for the playgrounds. I'd like to try to help out with a plan, talk to contractors, work with Jason closely as much as I can, and give the attention that the parks need, try and fit it in and get everybody's cooperation. I'd like to be a big part of that. So anyway, maybe Gary could join me in that too also, and perhaps
I would be happy to.
Actually, that would be a buildings and grounds thing, so that would have to go through Mr. Hips. So you would have to set that up through Alan, that is his committee.
Mayor, I also have something.
Sure, Gary.
To go with the legislation that we passed earlier about April being Autism Awareness Month, I prepared a little statement for it. Autism is a disorder that affects many communities, affects communication, social, and behavioral differences that can range from mild to severe. And it impacts not only the person that has the autism, it impacts the family, friends, and neighbors. The Autism Society of Greater Akron, a health and humanitarian organization, is an affiliate of the Autism Society of America, working locally to implement its mission to improve the lives of all affected by autism, not only here in Summit County, but Wayne, Portage, and Medina also. I personally have a son with autism, and we do have some fundraisers set up that I would like to mention. We have them within the Nordonia community here, and the money that's raised at the fundraisers are donated to the Autism Society of Greater Akron, which is, like I said, here in Summit County. Of course, some of you know my son, Andrew. He's 9 years old now. He is nonverbal. He is a very advanced child, very smart child. He does talk with an iPad, and using the program ProQ to Go, he is able to either pick an icon to say something, or he can type it out and then he'll hit talk. Basically, it's a button that says talk, and it'll say what he wants to say. So he's been doing that. He was diagnosed at 18 months old. We have had him in different studies to try and figure out how he got autism and his twin sister did not. Nobody's been able to tell us that, but love him to death. And like I said, we have a few things coming up. We have our 4th annual Shopping for Autism at the United Methodist, April 27th. We also have a fundraiser at Five Below, April 20th to May 11th. There's a certain percentage of their sales will also be donated to autism. April 20th to May 11th. I do have flyers for all of them if anybody wants any. Chick-fil-A fundraiser on May 1st from 6:30 till 10. I believe this is the 3rd, or it might even be the 4th year for Chick-fil-A. And we also do a fundraiser at Chipotle also, and that'll be May 18th from 4 to 8 p.m. So if you guys would like to support autism, I would highly appreciate it.
Gary,
Thank you.
Is Chick-fil-A at 6:30 p.m. to 10?
Yes, sir. May 1st.
Gary, I'd just like to add, you are one great father to do what you do for your son.
Thank you.
I applaud you for that.
Thank you.
Mayor, I have something that I would like. There was a letter to the editor in the Nordonia Hills News concerning things that were felt for how the council was run. And I felt that being a council person, that I needed to put my 2 cents in, or my freedom of speech, so to say. So in there, it was talking about the parking lot, which I'm glad that we're putting it through, but it was saying that it was 2 individuals that put it to the helm, and it's been more than that. It's been over 2 years, and Gary was actually the one that started it. And I wanted to make sure that Gary was the one that was at the helm of this and got it going through. That the person that actually put this letter through was not an original part of it. The 5-year plan that is being spoken about in this letter is saying that this is the mayor's doing, and it has wholeheartedly been our finance director. She has been on us continuously so that we can get a plan in place so that we can be looking at a forecast for the future. That yes, we may have the monies now, but that's not going to help us in the future. That's not going to help us getting our police department building, or updating our building that was donated to us so that we can use it for our community. We're all about our community. We want to be able to use that for some kind of a center for them. So the so-called surplus that everybody is speaking of, whether it's our residents or in this letter, it's not a surplus. It's called a savings. It's a savings so that we can use it down the road for emergency purposes or for us to better our area. In the letter, it also says that the mayor was asking for a raise. Mayor never spoke a peep about it. This was in our work session. It was our council that was bringing it up when we did a study as what was going around with the rest of the mayors in our area. We just felt that, and it's not for our mayor, it's for whoever is voted in for the next upcoming mayor. It is not for Mayor Nihis. It's whoever our community votes in next, is, if it is passed, is who it would go to. And then Glen Willow budget was brought into place, and we have to all understand that Glen Willow is basically a commercial, and so more money is going to be coming in. I would love to have the beautification that Glen Willow has. But again, it's not a surplus that we want. We want to beautify our area, but I'm looking at a savings so that we can use it down the road. And I just wanted to clear the record for what I feel was brought up at our council meeting. Thank you.
Thank you. Does anyone else have any old business, new business, or announcements? One thing that I would like to add is that, speaking of the letter, I know they're talking about, they haven't seen beautification in the village, and that really makes me upset. We have done many things, a beautification. I can come up with a 3-page list of things that we have done to beautify this town. We took an old building that was next door, tore that thing down, put trees, put landscaping, we added a fence to block, to really bring everything together here at Town Hall. All the things that Rich has been doing with the roads, to me, that's beautification. And yes, we did put up hanging baskets, and I had council people that told me, why are we having the service department water? And now and in this letter I hear we want 30 baskets. We're doing all we can with the money that we have. I am trying my hardest to make Route 8 look better with sign ordinances, weed ordinances, and an overlay district, which the person who wrote this letter voted against. And that would have helped beautify Route 8. It's really disheartening to me.
Most of the businesses that I spoke with, most of the people behind there that I've talked to, and I do know some of the people there, they said that's a big waste of time. They don't want to bother with that. It's never going to transpire.
Who are these people, and why didn't they come to our meetings?
I'm not going to mention their names, but I'll tell you when we go. I'll tell you in your office who told me that. But as far as Smith Park, you told me that a long time ago, Mayor, that we're going to do something about that park, and I'm really glad to hear we're going to start something there. But I didn't know the process. All of a sudden, I'm saying, I asked you, I took a ride with you and the chief, and was showing you some of the things that need attention. You said, yeah, we're going to do it, we're going to do it.
And we did it. We put a weed ordinance in place that you voted against.
No,
Yes,
the
we
things
did.
that I was pointing
But
out was
last
not getting
week
rectified.
He brought up how the weeds are going to start growing in our sidewalks.
And Miss Jennifer, you haven't even been to Smith Park unless you went recently.
Were you stalking
You
me?
said
You know
that.
where I've been?
No, you said it at a meeting. You said, I've never been to Smith Park. I don't need to go to Smith Park.
I
my
never
kids go to
once said
Huntington.
that I didn't need to go to Smith Park. Our meetings
You're
are
a
all
council person at
recorded.
large. You're a council
So
person
what?
at large. You've never
I
been
never
there.
said I did. I never said that I did not have to go there.
listen.
Do not put words in my mouth. You
Well, you
can't
could
even
go back and
remember.
listen to the
you don't
recording.
even vote on your own committee's legislation. You start to vote no after you had 3 meetings about it.
Listen.
You don't even know what you're talking about.
Listen, hold on a
President,
second.
can we get a point of
I've
order, please?
I've talked to the mayor about these issues. I went on an appointment with the mayor and showed him things that needed attention, and I get lip service, and I'm not, Mayor. Smith Park really needs attention.
And we're giving it attention this year, Mr.
5
Chair.
years. This is after 8 years you've been in that seat, and you told me that a long time ago, and now you're bringing it up now because of a letter that was written.
Well, you're bringing it up now because you want to run for mayor.
I never said anything to
President,
anybody. I never made
order.
no announcement.
Mr. President, point of order.
The mayor's,
So it's always a point of order
Running
when
the
I
meet-
want to
the
say
mayor's-
something, but someone can write a letter about me in the paper.
Why are you bringing it up? Why don't we talk about it?
Why'd you write it?
Let's talk about it.
Why'd you write it?
Because we should be ashamed of
I'd
ourselves.
like to make a motion to adjourn.
So we're adjourning because I can't have an opinion.
No,
And I can't talk
Everyone,
about this.
everyone should be able to.
I mentioned something, and I get like people angry with me because I mentioned Glen Willow,
I'm not
who's
angry
running
with
on
you.
a third of our budget, and there's beautiful. I don't understand how they make it so beautiful. Somebody says they donated that stuff to them. No,
Can I ask you a question, Mr. Chair? We asked you.
I've been to all neighborhoods in the
Can I ask you a question?
Around.
Can I ask you a question?
No, you can't. No, don't ask me any more questions. I just wanted, you made your point.
I did not make my point.
This parks are part of your beautification project.
You are the one that said we need to do something with Smith Park. We asked you where you wanted us to take the money from. We asked you no more than 3 times.
October, you stated in the paper we had a
answer, Mr.
in
Sheriff.
October.
I'm talking now. I need you to be quiet. I'm talking.
Yeah, we can't have 2 people talking at once.
You state $2 million play money in the paper. It was written.
I never said that.
You said we had $2 million to play with.
I never said that.
Yes. Then you're denying it, but it would be, I read it. I read it.
No matter what I say to you, Mr. Sheriff, it's never going to be right. So I put 14 baskets, but now you want 30. You didn't want me to water them, but you know.
You put mums in there in the fall.
And I did.
Yeah.
You don't want weeds, but you don't pass the weed ordinance. You want us to beautify Route 8, but you don't pass any of the ordinances to help us do that.
I don't want people to be ruled by tyrants that say you can't let your grass grow 6 inches. If my grass grows
You have to
fast.
start somewhere, Mr. Sheriff. Okay, I'm ready for adjournment.
I got a question.
Yes.
I want to clarify. I can order and start those projects. Is that correct?
Yes.
Correct.
All right, making sure. Thank you.
I'd like to make a
Motion.
motion for adjournment.
Second.
Motion by Ms. Domzowski to adjourn, seconded by Mr. Voitish. All in favor?
Yes.
Yes. All
Yes.
opposed? We are adjourned at 8:36.
May I speak with you?
Very good.
And then I spoke.